Welcome to another episode of the Wandering Watercolor. Today we're painting the 10th and final page of the complete beginner's guide to watercolor painting. Let's get started. So this is the 10th page. The scenery that we have here is the bridge of St. Angelo in Rome. Excuse me. And basically it's you can tell the scenery, the way that I made it, is a little abstract. However, you'll see that that's actually not abstract, but there's it's a little more impressionistic in the way that it's rendered. Part of the reason for that is I don't want people to get lost in the details. So that's one of the beauty of painting with watercolors, is that you can be a little more loose and you can kind of suggest things to the viewer, and then they kind of interpret them however they want. So, as always, you have a little porcelain dish or soap dish, whatever you have. Plate will work just fine. Color, brush, 2 jars of water on the side, and rag or paper towel. And I'll have links for everything if you need it down below. So the first thing we'll do is we'll grab some of the brown here and a good amount of water. And a little more, yeah, definitely more water. I'm actually gonna pick up some of this color and rinse it off and then just change it out with water. Okay, so this is good. And then we're gonna grab a little bit of red, not a lot, not too much, a little more. A little bit of red, a little bit of orange. There we go. A little more brown. Okay. Alright, so that's good. And what we'll do is we're going to block in the background color. And so basically we're going to go in, we're going to go like this. And again, we're not worried too much about getting things perfectly. We're not wanting to we're not doing like a perfect rendering of the scenery. We're just doing it like a little more impressionistic, where the viewer also gets to participate in how they interpret the scenery. And so do that, do that here. I'm going to leave this dome a little bit unpainted. Also, if you leave a little bit of gaps of white here and there, that's completely fine. I'm going to color all of that in. I'm going to try to leave this roof in here a little bit kind of like white. Just leave the paper showing through. And then underneath here, that's kind of like underneath the bridge. And stop right before you hit the water. Just color all of this in. And you can see that I'm going very quickly and kind of carefree. Definitely don't worry about it. I really can't stress that enough. You want this, you're emphasizing shapes using light and color in this scenery. You're not conveying the message through detail or line. It's the best way to think about it. Okay, so now I'm gonna rinse my brush. I'm gonna let that dry. While that's drying, the next best thing to work on is actually the sky here. And the way that we're gonna render it is it's actually a little more stylized and less of a again, it's just less structure, more texture. Just grab a bunch of blue, mix it in. You don't want it to be dark. You just want to have kind of like a light blue. This is probably good, and it's a good amount of it. So this is how we'll do it. We're gonna go in So closer to where the buildings are, we're going to be a little more solid. But then as we go up towards the top of the page, we're just going to kind of do some brush strokes like that and leave it like that. Just a little bit right here, like that. I'm going to grab this, go around here, like that. So it's, you see that I'm trying to establish much more color closer to the buildings, and then when you get up further away, just do a couple of brush strokes, kind of disconnect from the initial bulk of color, and you see that that gives it kind of a nice stylized look. And there we go, just a little bit like that, a bit here, and that's it. That is a very quick and easy way to render the sky. And the next thing we'll do is we'll actually paint the bridge itself. I'm gonna grab a good amount of yellow, mix it in with this color here, and also just a little bit of orange, a little bit, not a lot. Perfect. So this is probably exactly the color that we're looking for. And what we'll do is, actually I'm gonna get some more water, lighten it up a little bit. There we go. So we're gonna go like this, going from here all the way around, and just a flat wash all the way through, and just keep going. Like that. Okay, yeah, that's that. You can see that there are blobs throughout here that are, those are actually trees, and we can actually work on them next. What we'll do is, I'm just gonna grab some straight green right here. And that's good. So you can tell that it's a little more intense, a little more paint, less water. So what we'll do is I'm just going to go ahead and lay that in just like that, more towards the bottom part of the treetops, where all the leaves are, just a little bit like that, like that, and kind of laying them in quickly just because I want to go back in with some yellow before it's completely dry. So now I'm going to get some water, get some yellow directly from the pan to the paper, and mix it in. There we go. Perfect. Mix that in. Like that. Like that. Okay, it's looking good. Now rinse off our brush. And now we can focus back on the background. What we're going to do is this time we're going to mix a little more brown. And a little bit of, actually, a little bit of purple. Yeah, there we go. Because we want it to be a darker tone. Now what we're going to do with this is create some variation in the background. So like I'm just going to do a line here, here, just a little bit like that, a little bit here. Just kind of pick out whatever details you think look interesting and give them a little bit of an outline. Just here and there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like this, like that. You're just creating the idea that there's detail there, there's little nooks and crannies in the buildings. And then down here, underneath the bridge, I'm just gonna go in and fill in the whole thing because it's a darker area. So that also helps make the bridge itself pop out a little more. and just finish up a couple of different places here, like that, like that, like that. Maybe this right here. And you can see how quickly it's coming together. And next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little more red and kind of blend it in with this color and add extra water too. And this is going to be the actual dome here. I'm going to go like this, like that, and go over where there's a couple of different roof spots, and then just throw that in there. Also, same spots, we can hit it with a couple of yellow highlights and blend it in if we wanted to. Like that, and it's okay if it mixes up. It makes it look more interesting, honestly. Like that. A little bit there. Okay, all that looks good. And we'll go back to it in a moment just to add more detail. But in the meantime, we're going to grab a little bit of green and mix it in with the blue over here to get a little bit more of a teal color. And we're going to use that color to paint in the water here. And the way we're going to do it is almost kind of like how we did the sky, but in a different direction. So we're going to go ahead and block in the color here that's closer to the bridge. Just block all of that in. And then as it goes out, just kind of create some ripples, some highlights. Just make sure there's definitely some white showing through, just because that's what gives the effect of water, kind of like shimmering. There we go. Just kind of like horizontal strokes. You can show some of the texture by pressing down harder on the paper, and that's pretty good right there. Now next, I'm actually going to grab some of this green here, and then I realized I missed this little tree there. There we go. A little bit like that. You can add a little more of the green into the trees, just to add a little more contrast, make it more appealing. And so the last part here is going to be, we're going to get some of this brown. And we want a lot. We want less water, more paint. And then the red. And that's good. That's a good strong color there. What I am going to do is I'm going to dab a little bit of this. Take some of that color off just because it was too wet, because I can go ahead and lay in the darker details. So the way I'll do that is I'm just going to do a little bit of here, just kind of outline those roofs, a little bit here, a little bit here. And you can tell I'm adding very small amounts, but because of the difference in the intensity of the color, it creates a big difference. This one, this roof, down here. It does not have to be perfect. Like that. And over here. And rinse my brush. Now this all looks pretty good. The last thing is you can add outlines, and you can do that either by using the black, just kind of like an ink if you want to. If it's easier for you, you can just use a regular pen, and I'm just going to use the black here though, just to show you. So just get the color, and then first I'm going to do some, like, just a little bit of outlines, just random details throughout the background, just very lightly here and there, like that, just a little bit here, a little bit there, some outlines in the roof. Some lines here. And you're just kind of choosing whichever details. You do not have to do the same details as I do. You just do whichever one you want. All of that. Get some more paint, just add the details. Okay, so that looks great. And then over here, all I'm going to do in the bridge really is to just emphasize these arches. Just go slowly, take your time. And there you have it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can tell that in no time we have a beautiful landscape that's finished, has details, variation of color, light, texture, and that's basically a combination of all of the techniques that we learned. So if you have any questions, just leave me a comment or send me a message. And with that, I'll see you next time.